Liam, really good to see you sort of back in action.
Very much.
You've managed just a one start since December, so I imagine at your age it's quite difficult to experience that.
Yeah, it's tough. I hate being injured. Everyone knows that, like teammates, family. I've had my fair share of injuries over the years, but that's part and parcel of footy. So you just got to stay focused and work hard to come back, try and do everything right, and try and get back stronger. The old cliche, yeah, get back stronger and stay back, yeah. But obviously I've had 2 sub appearances in the last week now, so I'm ready to go whenever called upon, yeah.
I guess sometimes it's quite a miserable experience. Like you're spending time away from your teammates, your friends. Essentially, you don't go on the away trips. So, I know how do you sort of help yourself in that time?
I think it's easy to just fall into like a negative mindset and just not down tools, but like just be negative all the time. I think you've got to find something that obviously you've got your rehab to focus on, and then you've got something else to maybe improve yourself while you're out. So whether that be like looking after your diet to keep in shape so you can be a bit fitter when you come back, do more upper body stuff in the gym. I think having that focus, especially for a footballer where you've normally got that focus of playing every week, I think when you haven't got that, something's missing, so you need to find something else to try and keep you on track. And I felt like I've been good at that this time and brought me back in a good mental state, yeah.
That's an interesting point because you're not as physically active, obviously. So do you have to focus more on your nutrition and what you do in that regard?
Yeah, I have personally this time. Like there's been times before where you can just sort of let yourself go and you're just eating whatever you want and stuff like that. And that's no harm because you'll always come back and you get fit. But I feel like this time I've focused more on that. And I think it's made it easier coming back and I've felt fitter, felt stronger. So hopefully that shows when I can start playing again. Obviously, there's not too long left in the season, but if I can carry that on through the summer, I think it might stand me in better stead to stay fit and have a good pre-season and kick on again, yeah.
What was the full nature of your injury?
It was a split hamstring tear. Struggled a little bit with my hamstring tendon for a while, but nothing that was going to keep me out. And it just sort of got worse and worse. Obviously, you said I come back. I played on New Year's Day and everything felt fine. And then it happened in training. Just saw one, to be honest, and went for the scan. It was like, yeah, great. I can't remember what grade it was, but yeah, 10 weeks out.
I guess the medical science and the staff here have really helped you as well in that regard. As footballers, are you grateful for the sort of increase in medical science that can help you recover?
Yeah, definitely. It's obviously very important. A lot of stats and data and stuff get used to see your strength and stuff. Now it's a lot more developed than it was years ago. And I think obviously that stands you in good stead for coming back as well. You sort of got that confidence, then you know where you're at, you know how strong you are. So yeah, it's all helpful, yeah.
Does it help you take an interest in your body a little bit more? I don't know. Do you look at your scans and things like that and think about your body? I don't know where I'm going with this, but do you know what I mean?
I suppose a little bit, like, but them scans are hard to read. I'm not going to lie and say I know what's going on. Whenever the doc or anyone shows me the scan and as I look at it, I don't really know what's going on. I just listen to the advice, and I think the first thing for footballers is how long am I going to be out for? When can I get back? That's always the question. So you're always keen to get back as soon as possible, like, yeah.
I guess it's fighting to get back in the starting 11 now. That can't be far away.
Yeah, that's obviously always the aim. That's the football game. You're always competing against your teammates as much as you want everyone to do well all the time. You're always competing to try and get that shirt back. And you know, I'm not going to lie and say I like being on the bench. I don't like being on the bench. I know football's changed and it's a bit more of a squad game now, but I like being a starter. So as soon as I can get my place back in that team and try and keep it, yeah, I'll be made up and hopefully try and get some wins on the board before the season ends.
And obviously for all of you who've sort of got short contracts or contracts up in the summer, you are playing for your futures, aren't you? And you'll be mindful of that. Yeah,
definitely. You've always got to show what you can do, whether that's on the training pitch and on the games is where it counts. But as long as you're giving 100% all the time and you're trying to do your best for your teammates, the manager, yourself, your family, the club, I don't think you can go far wrong. You can go home and sleep at night then knowing you've given it your all. So yeah, what'll be will be.
Have you had contract discussions yet, or is that a end of season thing?
No, I haven't had any contract discussions yet, no.
How do you think the team has done this season? Not fighting relegation, which was the case 12 months ago.
Yeah, obviously that's a big positive. I think we spoke about it the other day. I think we've already got a point more than we did last season, if I'm right. Obviously, with the way the season started, I think there was that worry that are we going to slip back into that relegation scrap like last season again. But we just seem to, I don't know whether it was gather a bit of confidence, a bit of momentum, I don't know. Got quite a few wins under our belt, and at one point we thought we could be pushing for like a playoff push maybe, which would be exciting for everyone. Obviously we had a few defeats then after that, so it didn't really happen, but I think on the whole it's been a better season than last season, but I still think the group we've got down there, we know we could be higher up the table. I think, yeah, I do strongly believe that, yeah.
One of the issues at the moment that's been discussed is the amount of red cards that you've had in a short space of time. I know you've not been on the pitch, but what are your thoughts on it? John Doolan thinks that there isn't a discipline issue. You've been unfortunate with a few of them, but is it about the players being committed and it happens in football?
Yeah, I do think it does happen in football, and I think it's a lot easier now to get red cards than it was, say, 10 years ago. Like, some of the yellow cards that are given out now are quite ridiculous. Like, I've had my fair share of yellow cards, I've had a few red cards. I think I've toned that down personally, whether that comes with age and a bit more experience. I still feel like I go into challenges, I still feel like I compete, but in a more controlled manner, I think, maybe a little bit more subtle. And like I said, I think that's probably coming from a bit more experience and a bit more age. But yeah, like, I don't think there is a discipline issue in our team. I think everyone's, like you said, fully committed. We are quite an aggressive side. We like to put our foot in. We press, we work hard, we compete for the ball. Yeah, I don't think anyone's really, there's been nothing, no one's done anyone in a nasty way. It's just, there are some of them quite unfortunate, yeah, but again, that always gets labelled as a discipline issue whenever anyone gets sent off, or even yellow cards. Now people moan about that, getting too many yellow cards, but if you don't get sent off at the end of it, I don't see there's that much of a problem, no.
Yeah. What's it like on the pitch? Do opponents wind each other up? Is that a thing? And obviously the game gets emotional, and you know, you're all human beings. People lose their tempers sometimes, don't they?
Yeah.
What is it like on the pitch?
Yeah, there is wind-ups that go on. I enjoy that side of the game. I like winding the player up I'm up against, do you know what I mean? Like, if I'm going toe-to-toe with someone on the weekend, I'm already thinking, how can I get in his head to put him off his game? Will he not like me getting in his face and giving him a bit? You see different players and different personalities, they can go under from that. So yeah, you can, but you're also got to understand that's you're gonna be on the receiving end of that as well. So you've got to be able to keep your head, or maybe give a bit back and laugh it off, but don't overstep that mark and do something stupid, yeah.
It's all about taking responsibility for your mindset, your control. You've got to keep it at a level if that's going on the pitch.
Yeah, definitely.
Else you get red carded.
Yeah, exactly. You can't lose your head. And like you said, it does happen. You've seen it happen. There's hundreds of red cards all the time. It does happen quite a lot. And obviously you get criticised for that then, but you've just got to try your best to keep your emotions in check and use that winding each other up maybe to fuel yourself to be better than your opponents. That's what I think anyway.
Yeah. Back home this weekend, Fleetwood, what do you think of them? Obviously one of the local teams.
Yeah, I obviously haven't seen much of them. Obviously we played them last time away. I think we had a really good first half against them. And I remember the conditions that day, quite windy in one direction, so we had the win first half, and I really thought we won near enough every second ball. We were on the front foot, and I remember second half was really difficult to get out. So it would have been nice to hold on to that 1-0 that day, or, you know, at least get the draw. I think a draw maybe would have been a fair result, but we lost that game 2-1. But But yeah, I think they're a similar place to us in the table, maybe a few points ahead. If I'm right, is that
Yeah,
right?
that's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be good to get a win against them to try and close that gap and try and finish above them.